Hello everyone and welcome to this video where today I'm going to be filming my 33-week pregnancy update. As always, if you see me looking down, I have just got my notebook here in front of me. I'm going to be covering things such as my symptoms and also my gestational diabetes review. So starting off with a few things that have stayed the same for me. I'm still getting leg cramps in the night. I've had this for weeks now. Didn't have it really in my first pregnancy, but this time I seem to have had that happen lots. I've also been getting hip pain in the night. I think this is just due to being heavier in my stomach and having to lie on my side when I'm sleeping. This usually fixes if I just switch which side that I'm sleeping on. That tends to help me. But yeah, I do have that most weeks now. I have also had a couple of headaches, no major ones that stood out, just little ones here and there. I tend to get this at the start of the week. I'm not sure if it's the going back to work and waking up early and being in a different routine than the weekends, but yeah, I tend to have quite minor headaches at the start of the week. I'm not sure if I've touched on this too much in some of my updates, but something that I've noticed and noted down this week is nasal congestion. Now, I had this very early on in my pregnancy. Most of my first trimester, I'd wake up and my I'd be quite nasally congested. I again never had this in my first pregnancy, didn't really know it was a pregnancy symptom to be honest until I looked into it. But yeah, it was mainly in my first trimester that I had it, and then kind of on and off since then I've had it. Some weeks I'll have it, some weeks I won't. It tends to be a lot less now than when I first was pregnant, but yeah, I have had it a little bit again this week. I did mention in my previous video that I felt the baby had switched position, not turned around or anything, but just switched which sides that they were lying on, and that was confirmed when I went for my scan last week as well. But since then I do feel like they've moved back to the side that they were on most of the time before that, so it's usually on my right hand side with feet coming up over the top, because I tend to feel kicking on my top left side of my stomach, and I feel like that's kind of returned now. That tends to be the position that baby wants to sit in the most, and I feel like they've moved back into that. I feel like as there's less space now, it's probably unlikely that they're going to keep switching, but you never know, so hopefully that's the position that they stay in now. I do feel like when I'm out and about and walking that my walking pace has slowed down massively. When I'm walking with people, I'm just having to tell them like hang on a minute, because I'm always trying to keep up, and then it just gets a little bit much, so I'm just like, actually can we just slow down a little bit here. So yeah, I definitely feel like I've slowed down. I'm usually quite a fast walker, so that's really odd for me to like take much longer to get anywhere now, and like going up the stairs and just walking down the road and things like that. I've definitely started to slow down over the last few weeks. I have been feeling quite tired again. I think even after a good night's sleep I can tend to feel quite tired. I know your body needs a lot more rest at this stage in pregnancy. Obviously you're growing a baby, so you're using a lot more energy. But yeah, it's definitely this time to start slowing down and relaxing. I haven't got too much longer left at work, so hopefully hopefully that will help when I'm off work right at the end of pregnancy. Luckily on my last few weeks I've got there, I have got a few days off. We've got bank holiday coming up as well, so that should help and split up the weeks a little bit too. I have been getting a little bit of round ligament pain when turning over in the night. I feel like it's a lot more effort to switch which side I'm sleeping on now. It's when I get to my back I feel like I'm just getting stuck, that it's so uncomfortable to actually roll over, and sometimes that will cause round ligament pain. It tends to be the only time I will get it now is during the night, and it's not every night, just every now and then I've had it. I have been getting a few period-like pains. I believe this is probably Braxton Hicks, as sometimes my stomach was going tight, but not every time. Sometimes I'm just getting the pains. It can be when I've been sat still for a while, or when I get up to walk around, that my stomach can feel tighter then. But yeah, it's kind of on and off. It happens a few times this week it had, so thought I'd mention that. The bump is still feeling really low down. I haven't noticed that it's going up any higher. Baby still feels like they are really low down. I will say as well, when I'm getting the pains, that they tend to last a few minutes or so and then they'll just go away. They tend to happen in kind of blocks as contractions would, so I assume it is Braxton Hicks. But yeah, it can happen for like an hour or so and then just completely stop the rest of the day, so I know it's not actually labour. And it's not really painful, they're not getting closer together or anything, it's just very on and off. But yeah, I don't remember having them too much with my daughter, but obviously this pregnancy has been very different anyway. So yeah, I just thought I'd note that down. So that was it for updates for this week. So I'll go ahead now and talk you through my gestational diabetes review. So I tend to have this about once a month. Sometimes it's more often if I've had lots of readings out of target. However, it's not been too bad recently, so I tend to keep them to once a month if they're all okay. So this time it was an in-person review and there was a diabetic specialist nurse there and 2 diabetic nutritionalists as well. So I had sent my all my diabetic readings through to them the previous night, and they had them all printed off in front of them and had read through them before I arrived at the appointment. So they had a look through them. They said that everything was all looking good number wise. They did speak to me about how some of my readings had started to rise a few weeks ago, but since splitting the breakfast, that seems to have been working for me. So just having one slice of toast and then waiting an hour and having the next slice of toast, that seems to be really helping. I haven't had any fasting readings out of target either, so not sure if it was really to do with that because I usually have the higher readings after. However, they've all been good, so they were happy with those. They did say that I could start some insulin with breakfast if I didn't want to keep on splitting my breakfast. However, I don't really feel like splitting my breakfast is an issue at all, and I really don't want to be on insulin, so I declined that. I said no, I think we'll just carry on splitting the breakfast for now, see how that carries on going and go from there, and if I need it in the future then I need it, but if this works then why not stick to it. They then got me to go through my normal food in a day. They pretty much just do it like a daily food, and then I give them a few things that I have for dinner because I tend to keep the same breakfast and lunch most days, as I know that works for me. So that is what I do. They did say about just making sure that I'm keeping to kind of like a quarter of my plate carbs and not going over that. However, it was a different nutritionist the last time and the other one was obviously concerned I wasn't getting enough carbs, so I think kind of what I'm doing now is working. My numbers aren't over, so I'll just stick to what is working for me. They did weigh me. Currently I am weighing 61.2 kilograms, so I've increased my weight a little bit, but I've not put on loads of weight during this pregnancy, so they're just keeping an eye on that and monitoring it, but they seem happy with the gain that I do have at the moment. They then booked in my next appointment for in around 4 weeks time. They said during this one is when they'll start to begin discussing labour snacks and things that I might want to take with me. They did kind of speak very fast through this part, so I'm hoping next time I go that I hear the information again. But they said that during labour they tend to take your readings every 2 hours, I believe, and they like to keep you below a 7.0, I believe, but I need to double check that. But they said as soon as I have the baby I can stop checking my sugar levels after birth, that I will go for a test 6 weeks post-birth just to check that my readings are all okay, and then following that I will have a review every year just to check that I don't develop type 2 diabetes, as if you've had gestational diabetes you're more likely to develop type 2. So yeah, they were just running through a few bits like that. Other than that, the appointment was all fine, and nothing concerning this time, which is great. And a little update on my gestational diabetes for the rest of the week. All my readings have been in target, which has been amazing. It's been just over 2 weeks now that I've managed to keep all my readings in target, which is the best I've been able to do in a while. So obviously the food and the metformin that I'm having is working really well for me. Obviously I know this can get worse the further on you get in pregnancy, especially in those later few weeks. However, it's all going good at the moment. So So that was everything for the updates. I have also been on Vinted this week and picking up a few items for the baby. So I've managed to get hold of some Love to Dream swaddles. There's always loads to choose from on there. So we've ordered a few in newborn size and a few in the small size as well, as I feel like kind of need to test to see whether the baby's going to like it first. But I've got a couple in each size, and then if we need to order more, we'll just order some more off Vinted. So yeah, just waiting for those to arrive. So that was it for updates. So I'll go ahead now and show you the bump update at 33 weeks pregnant. So this is the bump update at 33 weeks and 6 days. So that was everything for my 33-week pregnancy update. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.